Welcome back to the show, From the Soapbox to the Stage. I'm your host, Bill Corbett. If you're just tuning in, I created the show to interview top speakers and get them to share tips for helping aspiring speakers, as well as those who've already stepped onto a stage, how to move from public speaker to professional speaker. It's not just about having speaking talent, it's about incorporating speaking effectively into your business marketing plan. Today I'm interviewing Croix Sather, professional speaker, author, and two-time record champion. He's the author of the book, Dream Big, Act Big, Breakthrough and Unleash the Superstar Within You. In just 2 years, Croix went from a non-runner to a two-time world record champion. He has spoken on the prestigious TEDx stages in New York City and Las Vegas, and is the founder of A Business Champion. Thanks for being here, Croix.
Great to be here, thank you.
So one of the things that you mentioned to me when we were talking before you came on the show, and I kind of tipped off the viewers what we're going to talk about, is speakers aren't necessarily marketers. Oftentimes we're marketers, we just happen to speak. So you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
I was speaking before I ran across America, before Death Valley, and part of that was a business strategy too. So how do you get out there in a real big way and shortcut the program? So instead of taking 10 years to build your name up, how do you do that in a shorter period of time? So that was part of Run Across America. So I finished Running Across America, like, okay, now they're gonna come beating down my doors. They're all gonna knock on my doors, they're gonna want me to hang, they're gonna pay me tens of thousands of dollars. And how many people you think called me right after that?
Crickets.
Zero. So after several months of this, not getting anything, any traction or anything like that, I was like, well, wait a minute, what am I doing wrong? And that's when I started realizing that I'm in the marketing business. My product is speaking, but I need to be in the marketing business. Because if nobody knows about me, it doesn't matter how great of a speaker I am, it doesn't matter how many world records I have. None of that matters if I'm not actually on stage inspiring people and changing people's lives. So that's why you're in the marketing business and your product is speaking.
So after you did the run across America, I thought that was just so amazing. It was cool. And people I would talk to in the media, I go, you know Croix Sather? I'm a friend of his. They go, Croix who? And I go, because like, you're right. So we have to do our own marketing. Or, you know, unless something amazing has happened to you beyond the run across America, although that's amazing to me, we really have to do a lot of marketing. So do you have any marketing tips? I'd be interested to hear what you can offer viewers who are watching this knowing, okay, if I want to be a speaker, I've really got to accelerate my marketing. Any suggestions or tips that you would be willing to offer?
A big one is having one message. A lot of times I hear of speakers, they get an opportunity to speak and it can be a topic that has nothing to do with them. Oh, I can speak on that. Like, well, you're not an expert in that. So you have to be an expert in something. So I have that one message. So that way you're known for that. You know, I'm the inspirational speaker. They call me the marathon man, so I'm known for that, and that's what brings me in. That's my hook, and then my message behind it is what actually gets me the jobs. It's just having that hook, something to tease them a little bit. But I have one message, and it's the same message for every audience, essentially, but it's catered to that audience. So I was just speaking for a Fortune 40 company a couple days ago. So my message is catered to that particular sales organization. And a couple days before that, I was speaking to other speakers. So my message, same core foundation, but a different twist on it for them. So bringing it all in together. But I'm only known for one thing, and that's what I'm brought in for. Do I turn down jobs because of it? Yeah. But why am I going to go spend all that extra time, effort, and only do a mediocre job speaking on a topic that it's not really my gig? Mm-hmm. So I'm doing exceptional job at what I do. And I'm letting go of all of the other ones that aren't completely aligned with me. So that means I'm aligned with the audience as well. So it goes both ways.
Question I want to ask you that I often ask my guests are, and this is not one that I ask you in advance, and if you have an answer, nightmares, speaking nightmares. I think when I was, back in the 90s when I was starting my speaking business, I was really in tune, wanting to know about all the different nightmares that other speakers experience so I could make sure and account for that and make sure that I never experienced that. Just wondered, do you have a nightmare that you're willing to share? Something that happened to you when you showed up to speak in an event or on stage that didn't quite go the way you thought it was going to go or had hoped it would go?
I got a bunch. I got my fly was down. I've blanked early on anyway. I blanked. I always come prepared for technology having complete failure, and that's happened many times. The PowerPoint, something goes wrong with it. The mics go off. It's too statically. You got to turn the mics something or other. So I'm always prepared to give a speech without any technology whatsoever, because it happens more often than you might think it would. I've never fallen down or anything like that, but I have had the unfortunate event of just bombing. And you get out there and you've trained for it, you're prepared for it, and like an athlete, you just have that one off day, and you can't explain it. It just happens every once in a while, and luckily that's behind me now. But you get up there and you get off the stage, and it's just like, man, that was not me.
And I had a couple of those myself where I'm there going, I've done this presentation so many times, but there's people falling asleep, they're yawning, and all I can think of in my mind, I'm going, get me out of here, because suddenly the speaker, me and the speaker and the audience just don't click, or there's no connection. You know how when you're speaking and you're charged up and you got people, you can see that your passion is in their eyes, the excitement, but then you have one of those events and it's not there, and you're like, how much longer do I have to stand up here and speak?
And sometimes that's the audience, sometimes it's the environment, sometimes you just don't mesh. And what you have to take away from that, because that will happen at some point or another. And if it doesn't happen, then you're not stretching yourself far enough. But the question to ask at the end of that is, what can I learn from this? Why did it happen? What can I learn? How can I be different next time? So you got to go do the Monday night quarterback and see what's going on. How can I make it better? So that way you don't do that again. And you get that audience you don't mesh with. Well, how do you shift gears to pull them back in? And because at certain points, if you're speaking for an hour and a half, at certain points, you're going to start losing the audience if you're not on every single second. And you start realizing that you see the audience, you start feeling that, like, okay, now I shift. How do I pull them back in? And have your hats, that you have your tricks you can pull out of the hat.
Exactly. And that's what saved me before, is having something that you just throw away your PowerPoint and go, all right, here's what we're going to do. Change the room up, or do something, do some sort of thing to engage your audience. Now, you said, you also gave me a tip of master your sound bites.
People like to walk away with an idea, a concept, and that's in a sound bite. So if you can't say it in 7 words or less, and if 3 words is even better, then it's not a sound bite. People don't remember a sentence or 2 or 3 sentences, no matter how brilliant you are. They'll say, wow, that guy was amazing. What do you talk about? I don't know, but he was amazing. But if you could walk away with a couple of sound bites, like my dream's not for sale, and things like that, I mean, those are fantastic. Never give in. One of your commercials, Winston Churchill, never give in. Never, never, never. That speech goes down in history forever. Those are sound bites, and then reinforce those sound bites throughout your speech. So you don't say it once, you say it over, and in fact, you have the audience call it back. It's a callback. So you have the audience saying it. So mine is get off your ass. Hopefully I can say that. And that's what I start my speech with, and that's what I reinforce the whole thing. Number 1 rule of success. That's it. And the audiences love that. And they're shocked, like, what is this guy? What is he saying? But they love it, and they'll get off, and then they have me sign his book now. That's rule number 1.
Now, you had, your book came out, Dream Big, Act Big, and we showed a shot of your book. And then you ran the marathon, then you ran the 100 days. And in fact, they're showing it now. What's next for you? Is there, you got another book in the works? Because they say speakers should have books. Do you have, or you just have your products, or what are you doing?
Dream Big, Act Big is coming out in its 2nd edition now.
Okay.
I'm also writing a new book, Business Champion, which matches my seminars. In fact, for your audiences, if they want to come to my events, if they sign up soon, they can come up for free. I'm taking that offer away within the next few weeks. So you can come to the event if you want to pay for it after that, but right now, for a short period of time, you can still come for free. And just go to croixsather.com. So the book's going to match my event, and that's what I do now is mostly my own live events. So I work with entrepreneurs, small business owners, professionals with their mindset. So why does a business fail ultimately, or why does a speaker in this case, why does a speaker not succeed? It's because of the mindset. So if you have this figured out between your ears, then everything else will happen. So if you have the mindset that I'm not stopping no matter what. When I ran across America, I was not stopping unless a truck ran me over. And that was literally my mindset. Sounds crazy, but that was my mindset. You fix this, everything is easy.
It's interesting what you said about having a new book to come out to match your presentation. I created a keynote, a very inspiring keynote. And my audience primarily tends to be early childhood education, parents, that kind of thing, because I'm in the child behavior
You've helped
industry.
me fabulously with that.
Yeah. And I came up with a great keynote that was for teachers at a big inner city conference. And it was, don't give up, because you might be the only hope a child has to grow, because we have no idea what's going on at home, right? And so they were so inspired, and people come up to me going, do you have a book on this topic? And I'm like, yeah, I do, and it's like, oh, there's the next product I gotta come up with. So it's a good idea to have your products match your presentations. You said master your talk with those takeaway sound bites. So that's what you're talking about, master your talk with those.
So your talk's got to be that one topic, and the sound bites have to match. And the sound bites is what people will remember. And the sound bites need to be into the speech, whether it's a callback or you're just using it. It has to be in there, not just once, but several times, because people won't remember it necessarily on one time. So they'll remember it after you hear it the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh time. So that's why, and you have to master these. I mean, they got to be down cold, and you have to have them every single time. So if somebody asks you off the street and they say, "What's the key message?" You got 3 or 4 words, and that's it. You got to know it. And it's also your marketing. So everything's about sound bites these days. So even your marketing needs to match. So if your marketing and your speech and your sound bites are all aligned, then it's one consistent message. And that's what'll get you callbacks.
Any secrets around that you can reveal how you came up with the Dream Big, Act Big title for your book?
Just keep whittling it down until it's just 3 or 4 words. Because it always starts out as 10, 12, 13, 18 words. And how can I make it smaller? How can I make it smaller? And Dream Big, Act Big actually went the opposite way. So Dream Big, Act Big kind of came out easy. Then I found the domain for it, the URL. So I have that.
You did?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
And then when I was running across America throughout the process, I came up with a quote for it. Just came to me. I have no idea why. It's divine intervention. So dream so big it inspires you. Act so big, it inspires the world. So dream big, act big is in there.
Ah, that's awesome.
So now I have a quote too.
Yeah.
It all lines up.
That's great. One overall message, everything supports that message.
When you could talk about 10 different things in your 45 or 90-minute keynote, and how many things will they remember? 1 if you're lucky. But if you have one message throughout that whole speech, and every story reinforces that one message, then they'll remember that, and they won't maybe or maybe not will remember your quote, your soundbite, doesn't matter, but they'll remember the message, and that's what changes lives. The soundbite doesn't change lives, the message changes lives.
Well, thank you so much for coming out to come to the show so we could take the segment. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Bill.
And good luck to you. You got some awesome things going on, and a lot of us here are following you, using the thing, your accomplishments as our inspiration. So thank you for that. On today's show, we met professional speaker Croix Sather, someone the media calls Marathon Man because of his astonishing accomplishments, and some of the audiences call him remarkable because of his inspirational life story. His primary tip for us was know that you're not just a professional speaker who markets, you're a marketer who also happens to speak. Now, it takes a lot of courage to get up in front of others and speak. It takes even more courage to do it as part of your business or marketing plan. And when you do, it will set you apart from your competition and get you noticed by your prospects and customers. So make the right choice to be different from the rest. I hope you'll join me for future episodes of the show as I set out to tap into the knowledge and wisdom of professional speakers who are willing to share their secrets for success on the stage. As Dale Carnegie once said, make the most of today, get interested in something, shake yourself awake, and let the winds of enthusiasm sweep through you with gusto. I'm Bill Corbett. I'll see you the next time on From the Soapbox to the Stage.